Welcome back, my craftin' chickadees. I have a video today for you with a project that I've been working on, and I was inspired by Digital Collage Club's beautiful images with the Marie Antoinette collection that she has on her site. She just has all different types of images of her where you can use lace holders and 1-inch circles for bottle caps, tags and coasters and bookmarkers and just all kinds of lovely things. And so I kind of went with what I saw when I looked at the images in my head. And when I saw the Marie Antoinette, I thought gold. And that's kind of how this whole thing started. And what I did was I altered a box, and I will link at the end of this video. I did another altered box. I did a process video on it where I keep my Christmas cards in it, and it's got a big Santa Claus on it. And my friend Christy had given me the two boxes, so I want to do a shout out to her. Hi Christy, what's up, my Miss Chick there? I told you I'd do something with the boxes, and I did. So this is my second one. And so when I altered it, I immediately saw gold, because back then in that era, everything was so lavished and just royalty, and it was the best of the best, and gold and things of that nature, and frilly. And so that's just kind of how I started thinking. So what I did was I altered the box, I painted it, I did the whole box, all the trim around it in gold, and then I put down some paper. And what I did here was I did a faux leather look and painted that gold. And this blue here that you see, this, it's kind of like dimensional, comes up, it has a lip on it, it was a book that was falling apart. So I took the front cover of the book off, and then I distressed it in gold, and then that's when I did the faux leather on top of it, and then I adhered it to the box, as you can see. And I have the sides too here that have, hopefully you can see that, the faux looking leather on it. And then I had this small picture frame, and it was already painted black, so I just distressed it with a little bit of gold to bring out that gold. And then I put some embellishments on it with gold leaves, flowers, a lace ribbon, things of that nature. And so that's the first thing, is that this is an altered box. And then inside the box, what I did was I created a journal. And the journal can be stored in this box, or then you can use this box if you wanted it for like whatever your keepsake treasures are, or whatever you want to put in it, or you can put your journal back in it. So this is what the inside looks like. See, this is here where I was telling you about how I painted the trim, and then I did some scrapbooking paper and glued that down in it. And it also goes with the theme of dessert and cake, because of the way Marie Antoinette is known with her pastries and things of that nature. So that's why I have that in there. And so here is the box itself. And then I will do a flip through for you with the journal. So I used a lot of different images from the Digital Collage Club, and I'll let you know which ones I've used. So if you go onto her site, you can see the ones that she has, you know, the different types in the collection. So this here is a jewelry holder, but I like using them for decoration, or obviously like journaling cards. And then I just took some vintage trim and embellished it, and some flowers and buttons. And then on this piece of paper here, I had another piece of paper. I just had this, you can see like that border, that margin right there, and I just sewed it together to make one piece of paper, and then sewed it, you know, machine sewed it both with the lace here on the front, and then put the embellishments on it. Here I have hanging off the side is a bottle cap, and this is another part of the collection where she has 1-inch circles that are made for bottle caps. So what I did was I had these vintage bottle caps, And I just put a circle on the back so you didn't see like the company that it came from. But they all are vintage, and I flattened them. And then I took a Dremel tool and I drilled a hole into it, and then I hung it from a garment pin, which is actually supposed to go like this, hang from the bottom here, but it moves around a lot. It's supposed to go like that. There you go. And then I put Digital Collage's 1-inch circle with Marie Antoinette in it, and then I put an epoxy on top of it. And so that's a charm that hangs from the first page. And when you open it, here's the inside cover, and enough room here for you to journal with some beautiful images here on the paper. And then I had a vintage French book. It's all written in French, and it's I thought was just perfect for this project. You couldn't have gotten any better than that. I mean, I was just like, wow. And I just had it for such a long time, and I was like, well, we are going to utilize it now. So I put some whole reinforcement on here, so because it, you know, is delicate, it is book paper, and so that way nothing can rip. And then on this page here we have the cupcakes, like that was in the altered box, and I put that on this page. And then I made a pocket out of this glassine bag and just kind of did some doodads and decorated it with lace and vintage trim and some paper. And then here is another 1-inch circle from the Digital Collage Club with it says Paris on it, and I thought that kind of brought out that black. Inside it I have this tag. What I did was I wanted to kind of push things off to the right margin, so this is one of the jewelry holders, and then I cut it down so where it's only showing part of her. And then I did some washi tape, because you know I love my washi tape, and I used that going down with gold to match all the gold in the project, and did some vintage trim and lace and created this tag. And you can journal or do whatever you want on the back. And this is part of this cupcake here that's made out of flowers is part of this paper, so I fussy cut it and put that down on the bottom. And I had a little piece of the scrapbook paper that was on the front of the box, and so I made a little tag out of it and used another 1-inch circle with the Marie Antoinette image and put that on there, and some washi tape down the side and some vintage lace, and that's the back, so you can use that as another journaling card. And then this is one of her Digital Collage Club's bookmarkers. I love these. Look how beautiful the colors are. That's what gets me, is the colors. They're just, you do anything with it. And I love the black. And the black just goes so well with the black print on the book pages, and I just think that, you know, it just all flowed. And I had this little tassel, so I stuck it to the top. And then on the back, I had a piece of paper that was lined, so I thought that that would look really cute on the back, and you can write on each line or make a list or whatever, because, you know, you have that there to write on. And so that's what's in this first pocket here. And then on this page, I left these two blank. This is some vintage book, the French book paper. Use some washi tape with cupcakes going down here. This is hand tea-dyed paper. And on this side, what I did was I made a pocket, a tuck here. This is vintage wallpaper. And then this is one of her bookmarkers. And here is another bottle cap with the 1-inch image. And then machine sewed the lace down with the bookmarker attached, so it acts like a tuck. And then inside that tuck, I had these two pieces of paper This is some, I guess it's like graph paper. It's got little squares on it. And I stamped a chandelier on it because you know she had chandeliers in her empire, probably in every room. And then on this piece of paper, which is a mini ledger, I stamped a crown, and I distressed all edges on everything. And then on the back I did a little Eiffel Tower and stuck that back in there, and fits in nicely. And then on this page we have more of the cupcakes, and on the right page I have one of the circle images there, and put that right in the corner so that gave it some decoration. Another bookmarker with some vintage trim, and this was one of her jewelry holders, and then I sewed a piece of scrap paper to another piece of scrap paper to make a tag, some vintage wallpaper, made a bow, and put black to pull out the black here. Like I said, I just think that black flows so well with the whole, project. I just think it looks great. And so yeah, that's that one. And then this one says blooming with sweetness, and that's the back. This is another image from the 1-inch circles from Digital Collage Club. I had a heart and I put that down, and then I did a scallop circle, and then the 1-inch circle with the cupcake, blooming with sweetness, because again it all has to do with pastries and cake, and let them eat cake and all of that. So I thought that would be pretty suitable. So that goes in that tuck. And then on this page we have another tuck over on the left side, and there it is, let them eat cake, and another fussy cut of that paper. Then I have some of the French book paper on the back, and then that is the tag itself, and these are the jewelry holders. So I did some washi tape and gold going down the side. I have a little bit of the vintage book paper here, the French book paper, with 2 little satin hearts, and then the jewelry holder for a decoration, and then another cupcake. And so I made those 2, and they go in that tuck. And we have another, on this side, another French book paper, and then this are her coasters. And I just love this image. I love that black, how she used the I cannot say that, Eiffel Tower for an A. I just think that that's just so creative, so clever with her image. And I have a black and white paper clip that I thought went nicely with the black here, and then some vintage lace for a little decoration on it. Now on this side of the page is a large pocket, and this is vintage wallpaper. And so in this pocket what I have is, this is another part of the collection, the tags themselves. So I printed that out and cut them out and distressed them, so that'd be a nice journaling tag with some vintage trim, or lace, excuse me. And then this one, this is a journaling card. It's kind of big, but what inspired me to make it horizontally and long was I had this piece of paper left over, and it has columns and lines, and I thought that would be great to make lists, or maybe do, maybe some kind of little budget, or just whatever you're going to put there, or obviously journaling. And so I wanted it to go horizontally, and so I kind of made this tag out of it. And then I used a jewelry holder here, and some vintage trim and vintage lace on 2 pieces of paper. And so that's what I came up with. And then this is a piece of stationery I had. I loved the colors because she's so shabby chic. All these images that she has are very shabby chic, so that kind of drew me to this print. And so I took a jewelry holder and attached it to a die cut so I could frame it, and then put a bow on it, And then here's another one of those hearts, and then I die cut the story, and then I distressed it in black, and then I hit it with some gold, with a gold pen, so it brings out the gold in the project. And then when you open it up, you can tell your story of whatever that story might be. And so that itself is, you know, large enough to do a good piece of journaling on it, and yet we can fit it in that pocket. And so that's what's here on this side with some vintage trim. And then here's that paper that I was telling you about. So now I've got it, more columns going down vertically, and this would be ideal to keep track of something, or you know, maybe a list or whatever. And then this side here is the coasters, and I created a pocket out of that on the hand-dyed tea paper, and I did a just you know, put in a library card, distressed it. Here's another one of her tags. Whoops. And so I thought that would look cute in here. And then and these are also reinforced so they don't get ripped. And I distressed all the hole enforcers so that they would match and have that distressed look. Here's another coaster, and then I stamped Paris and a crown, distressed the tags, and put some vintage lace on it. And then here is just some beautiful paper, and then I have a clip for this side, and I had this sticker, so I used that, put it down on this little, it's like a little paper bag, if you can see that, and then I stamped a Eiffel Tower on it, and then we have one of the tags from Digital Collage Club, and put that in there, and then I put that up there, and so now you've got your little, this is seam binding, so that looks really cute hanging off, and some machine sewed lace. And on this side here under the clip we have I made this tag, and I instead of doing it off to the right, I did it to the left with the jewelry holder images, and then vintage trim, and I had some little flowers and some trim here, lace, vintage book, the French book paper, and the tag itself. And then this here is one of her, again I used that cupcake image or a little pie for the pastry theme, and drilled a hole in it and put it on a garment hanger. And then I had these little charms, and it's a spoon and a knife and some cherries. So I have them hanging off of the garment pin onto the bottle cap. You can see that. And then this is another tag I created with the jewelry holder, some washi tape, the cupcake, and then the washi tape, the real thin one with gold going down the left side. Fussy cut another cupcake out, and that's the back for you to journal and maybe put some pictures or whatever. And then this side we have more of that wonderful French book paper, and I have the reinforcements. This is hand-dyed, tea-dyed paper. I stamped Paris down here, and I left this blank and this area blank because you have some nice imagery here, and you have those cupcakes that go throughout the whole journal, and cake and all kinds of fun stuff. And then on this side, what I did here was I took an envelope and I did some vintage lace and trim, and inside I put some of the vintage book paper, the French book paper, and then I have one of her tags, And this was some of the vintage book paper, the French paper, and then what I did was I sewed it and I made a little pocket. And then I put one of the jewelry holders on it, so now you've got a little pocket inside a pocket. And then I did some little tags, some vintage wallpaper, the French book paper, fussy cut the cupcake, and one of the 1-inch circles with the Marie Antoinette image in it, French book paper, distress the paper. This flips up. You got some vintage trim, vintage wallpaper. I embossed some cardstock here. I made some polka dots, and then you have the cupcakes that are made of flowers. And so these go in here, and then these go in here, and then this flips up, and I have a another coaster, and I left it as a pocket so you can slide something in there, and French book paper, and that would be, and this is attached between both pieces of paper, so you can't take that out, and it just flips over nicely. Excuse me. And this side I have some more tags that I created. Again, did it over to the right side, did some washi tape. This is the jewelry holders, a bow, vintage trim, a button, the French book paper, vintage lace, and that's this tag. Did the pink with the pink. I thought that came out pretty. And then this one here, more vintage trim and lace, the jewelry holders, buttons, washi tape, sewed the lace onto the cardstock, and we have a nice big journaling card or tag. And then that gets attached on this side with the clip that has some vintage trim. And isn't that beautiful paper? Oh, I just think that's just wonderful. They make paper so pretty. It's like you want it all. It's just so beautiful. And then on this side, I made a little, like a little shaker envelope, and it's got different colors of the sequins in it. So I just thought that was something fun in a glassine bag. And, you know, you can take them out, you can reuse them, maybe in a project, or if you're doing another journal or something. So it's, you know, all usable. And I just have that clipped over here. We have more tea-dyed, hand tea-dyed paper, another tag, and I stamped a little crown down here, and this is another tag, and I used some seam binding to match her dress. I love the clock behind her, love it. And a bird. Well, you know I like the bird. I can't help that. And so that goes there. Now on this is your back cover. There's 15 pages. I don't know if I said that to you or not. So that's 30 pages front and back, including front cover and back cover. Now this is a thin garter belt. And I came across a woman that had a sewing company that was going out of business. And she had all these really cute garter belts, and this is the way they came. So I don't know, like, if they were, I don't know. This is how they were. So, and she had like this huge box of it, and I only grabbed a handful because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them. But in any event, she had all kinds of neat stuff. So I grabbed some of them, and I thought, well, that would be really cute because that's like really girlish. And you know how back then they had corsets, and I'm sure they had garter belts and all of that because that's just the way they dressed. And so I made that as a belly band. And then underneath I did a kitchen check because I thought that was suitable with the pastries and the food. And I stamped a chandelier on it. And then I just did a punch down here to kind of give it a little bit of decoration. And then this is a It's called a ring binder label holder. And I came across it in an old, I don't want to say old, but like it was a business office supply store, and he had a whole box of them, and I didn't quite know what to do with them, but I thought they were interesting. And so it's got this slide effect where, well, first of all, the image itself, if you can see that, is I think they're 1x2, and they're like what you would use if you wanted to cover dominoes, and she fit perfectly in these binder clips. And I just thought that that was just great because I didn't quite know what I was going to do with them. And so what I did was I created a pocket here. This is you can seal it if you wanted to, put something in it, or just leave it as is and store stuff. And so I did a tea dye doily and some of the French book paper, vintage trim, and some buttons. And then I took this, and all you do is you just slide it on like this. And I thought that that looked really cute. And then so if you wanted to put stuff behind it or under it, inside it, you can clip it with this. It acts basically like a clip. And I just thought that was another great way to utilize more of the collection of the Marie Antoinette from the Digital Collage Club. So that's how I came up with that. And then I put that under there with the belly band. And that is the last page of the journal. So we have the box, and we have the journal, and then what I created with what I had left over is this. I used some of her lace holders, and what I did was, and this all comes included because I'm going to be putting this in my shop at Golden Nest Studio on Etsy. And so here's some extra lace, and I've also created these stick pins. I do stick pins, so if you go into my store, you'll see I have a whole section under decorative pins, and I do lots and lots of these. And so I kind of like made them to go, I tried to at least with the color. So here, you know, she's like a lot of her outfit is in lavender. So I found some lavender lace, and then I'm going to put a little, like it's a little cap on the end of this. It'll be a clear little plastic cap so you won't get stuck. But for the sake of time, I just stuck them in there so I can post this video and create the video and post it, and so you can see what it looks like. So that's the purple one. And then I have this one. She's in like burgundy, pinkish burgundy. I have some white lace, one of the pins to hold the lace in. And then I have this one was more of like tans and greens. So I did a green one, created a green pin with some tan lace and ivory lace. And then this one, she had a lot of purple and lavender, so I created this pin. And then that helps hold it there. And again, you can use it for other projects. You can put it into the journal, have some pins to use for maybe another project at another time. So that also is part of the altered box. And then this, what I did was I had a couple of pieces left over, and of course you know me, I can't just leave it there. I have to make something out of it. So this is part of that vintage wallpaper, and it's like almost like cloth, and it's got texture to it. So I sewed it, made a pocket, kind of made it like an envelope pocket. And then what I did was when I sewed it and then I put this peachy color paper on it, I created that as another pocket so you can utilize that. And then I just cut it with some pinking shears to kind of give it a decorative edge there. And then I used a jewelry holder, the French book paper, buttons, vintage trim to decorate it. And then this was it's a vintage gold, not, I don't want to say vintage, but like a vintagey color. I mean, this is not vintage. but it's got like the old carousel. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sure the light's hitting it at different angles, but it's an old carousel, and like everybody's dressed in that type of era, you know, way back when. And it was gold, and I just thought, it's on vellum. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that kind of went with the whole theme, so I put that right in this little pocket here. And then in the second pocket here, what I've created is another one of the tags that I kind of had her going off towards the left margin this time. Some washi tape, vintage book paper, some little flowers, and then this is one of these. So what I did was I kind of just cut it, and then I folded it, I put it through, and then I glued it, and I made it into a you know, like a little ribbon tag, and it adhered a black bow to bring the black out in her dress. And here is a bookmark, and then I sewed, I sewed this down here, the pink and the black, and then you can journal on the back. So it's a tag, journaling card. And then this one is a journaling card, vintage trim and some washi tape, the jewelry holders, and then I made this into a little pocket up front right here. And so you have a little embellishment with a heart, black bow, and that was part of that paper. Put some vintage trim on it and put a little staple on it, and then a little tag. And it was just cute little odds and ends that I'm sure you can put somewhere in the journal if you want, and put that right there. And so that's the back. And then we're going to take all of this and put this back in this pocket here, and let's grab everything. So we have the box, and we have the journal, and we have your lace holders with lace and stick pins, and then this separate little pocket journal that all is themed and matched. So yeah, that's what I came up with. And it's going to be in my shop. So if you look down below, it'll link you straight to it, or through my shop at Golden Nest Studio at Etsy. And yeah, so I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. And if you're new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would like to subscribe. Please do. If you'd like to have any notifications of when I release my videos, just tap on that little bell. And don't forget to like, comment if you have any questions, and check out Digital Collage Club. She's got wonderful images. Check out the Marie Antoinette. There's all kinds of stuff that you can play with. So thanks for watching, guys, and get crafty, and hope you're all doing well, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.